Hey everyone, and welcome to Ink Spotlights from Comix Wellspring. This is the series where we shine the spotlight on immensely talented creators that print with us. And today we're joined by Jon Dexter to talk about his books and projects and a little more. John, I'm so excited to talk to you. Why don't you tell us all about your book and what you do?
Oh, thanks. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I'm the writer of Alpha Dogs. It's live on Kickstarter right now. We're selling issues 1 through 5. We had recently been signed by a publisher actually in 2024. So it's really exciting. The premiere of the graphic novel in stores is next week. So that's really cool. But uh, I also have the Kickstarter going on as well. So it's really cool to have this, the first issue since the publishing is exciting. But yeah, Alpha Dogs is about this dog named Buck. He has the ability to heal from any wound. He's smart enough to understand human speech, and he has a heightened strength. Him and his owner have been on the run from mercenaries that are attempting to kidnap Buck to possess his powers. It's got a lot of action in it, a lot of heart. It's kind of like X-Men, but with dogs to a certain extent, because as the story goes along, um, the owner, who has lived a very lonely life protecting Buck, gets manipulated by this guy who she ends up divulging the secret of Buck's abilities. And he ends up manipulating her to give him a sample of Buck's blood because he's known of the dog's powers and have been tracking them down himself. So he's created this serum that once possession of Buck's blood, he can create his own dogs with their own abilities. And he has this revenge plot that plays through the series. And so it's a lot of fun. It's got themes of, like I said, abandonment, people picking, you know, a puppy over the established dog there, no different than kids where, mom brings in a stepdad and the kids get pushed away. So there's, it's kind of a cautionary tale too.
Oh, dude, that's awesome, and that resonates so much. Like, I'm an animal lover, so I mean,
Yeah.
just hearing that like journey, and especially when you think about when you see a dog get hurt, like in a show, a movie, a cartoon, whatever, and you're just like, no, but like having that ability to like heal, and they're gonna bounce
Yeah.
back, kind of gives you the like you could be rough, and then know that everything's gonna be okay,
Yeah.
kind
So this is who Buck is actually inspired by.
of.
That's who
Oh,
this was. We had this pity mix named Pig. He was like a kid. He was like our own kid. And we
yeah.
had lived in this town. We had moved from Michigan for a while, lived in this town, remained nameless. We're going to outlaw pit bulls. And so it's like, well, hold on, we're not going to get rid of our dog. So we moved. And so that inspired me to create the story about this dog that's feared by the public because of his breed and size, but he actually has a huge heart.
Oh, it's so sweet. Yeah, pit bulls get a bad rep just for, there's bad owners, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's really what it comes down to be. And having a story that's inspired by a dog of your own as well,
Yeah.
that really hits home with me. My dog passed away this past September, and that was
Oh,
like the
sorry.
hardest thing to like get through.
Oh,
But I try to, yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure you to understand to an extent.
Yeah.
Like it's
We cry
you
more for
use
the
like
dog dying than a relative.
Oh, hands down, dude. Yeah, it's wild. Like, my dog Spock, he was, my best friend, my buddy, been there through
Yeah.
some, prime years for my life to growth. And
Yeah.
I started working on small stories to kind of like, oh, maybe this will help me feel better about the
Mhm.
situation and remember him
Yeah.
better and, and all that. And it really did kind of heal a little bit. Did you
That's
have a
good.
connection with your dog? Is it like, where's the backstory on some of this as well?
Yeah. My wife picked him up. She wanted a dog, and I said, hell no, we're not getting a dog.
Always the
And
situation.
then, of course, here's a picture of the dog. If she bought him from Walmart parking lot, and he just we loved him to pieces. And he unfortunately passed in 2023. So there's a nice tribute to him in the comic on issue 4. So yeah, it's cool. But yeah, I mean, I think everybody. I think there's nothing that similar to a man, or I'm sure a woman too, relationship to their dog.
Hands down.
It's old as time.
Yeah, no, it really is, and it's something until it happens to you, sometimes you don't really understand, like, the weight of that and how it, like,
Yeah.
holds on you and everything, and dude, yeah,
Mhm.
it's been wild living life without him because it just feels so empty, but
It
filling
does.
that void with art and creativity and keeping him in memory forever and,
Yes.
the success that's coming from your book because of this, that's even more exciting, so how
Yeah,
did this
it is.
publishing deal all come together for you as well?
Um, Well, I had stalked Dirk Manning. The great, I had I knew he liked that genre. I knew he worked for Source Point Press. Source Point Press lives literally an hour away from where I live. So it just, for me, that's, I felt like that's where I belong. I just felt for some reason a kinship that that's where I belong. And so I had given Dirk issue 1 and 2 of my supernatural crime mystery. Great. It's a great series too, just as good as Alpha Dogs, just totally different,
Oh, cool.
called Dime Store Detective. Right. And I know Dirk likes, that kind of stuff. I don't know if you're familiar with Dirk Manning.
Yeah, no, yeah. I
Yeah.
keep track of a lot of the industry editors and people like that
Yeah.
kind of make
Yeah.
the decisions. You know, you have to have your little
Yeah.
spreadsheet.
So I gave him issue 1 and 2, and then I waited a year because I knew I'd see him the next year. So I waited a year, and I saw him finally. And I walked up with issue 3 of Dime Store Detective, and that's when he said, are you signed with a publisher? And I said no. And he asked me if I was interested in going to Source Point Press, and I was like, yeah. And inside I'm like, yes. And I really felt like all I needed was the opportunity, because I would put my comics against anybody else's. You're never going to see, honestly, another one like it on the shelves. I can guarantee you, if you give it a chance, you'll really enjoy it. So I believed in myself. I believed in my comics. So I knew if all I needed was the opportunity, then I think I could get signed. And I was. So it was pretty awesome.
Dude, congrats on that. That's such a big
Thank you.
maneuver. And,
It
having
is.
like a goal and something that you're trying to achieve, and even making a comic in general is such a big achievement. But like going
It's a
further,
headache.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
there's the trials and tribulations of just trying to make art and get your book out
I
there
think
and
every
noticed.
comic I always say, this is my last one.
Oh yeah, my best friend Mark Bernal, we would call each other every week, and he runs lesser known comics, and we'd be like, so this is the week we just stop, right? Like this is it, we're done. And then 5 minutes in, you have a new idea, and you're like, oh man, now I got to write this series, and
I
now
know,
I'm
I
excited
know.
again. So
It's
what else do you
terrible.
have on your plate? Any other books that you're working on that you
Yeah.
may be submitting?
Yeah, so I've got my other series, Dime Store Detective, which you can get in this Kickstarter right now. It's a awesome supernatural crime mystery. If you like, the hard boiled, old school, gangster, it's also, it's kind of like Stephen King's It meets True Detective, I guess is a good way to
Ooh,
describe it in a little elevator pitch. So it's a really really great supernatural thriller. And then I have my other one called Space Cruiser that got released this last year. It's this group of you know outcasts. They get together. This enhanced human who's a Bushido warrior, this alien who absolutely loves American pop culture. He wears a cowboy hat, a World War II bomber jacket, and this obsolete android. They, like I said, they're outcasts. They get together to try to find lost Earth artifacts from around the galaxy, because sometime, obviously, in the future, Earth will be no longer sustainable for life, and they go light years away, find a planet humans do to live on, but it's occupied by aliens, and there's the civil war, and there's this tension between humans and aliens, and that kind of is the backdrop of the story. So these three outcasts, the Bushido warrior, alien, and the robot, try to find earthly artifacts that are worth a lot, but it's not, like the Hope Diamond or, gold bullion. It's like a toilet plunger or a Rubik's Cube. It's stuff that is silly to us, but thousands a year, hundreds and hundreds of years in the future, who knows? So it's got a lot of comedy to it, and people really have enjoyed it. I hope to do issue 2 this year.
oh, dude, that's awesome. That's so exciting. And it's cool having so many series to kind of like dip your feet
Yeah,
into and alternate your brain with, like just knowing where you are emotionally and where you are productive wise, like having various series to dive into, it kind of leaves the pressure off and it gives you a chance to expand a bit more. And
yeah,
not be afraid to like challenge yourself in these different genres too, because all three of them sound so radically different. I'm sure it's kind of
yeah.
fun to play in each playground for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, and in the Kickstarter, you can get all my comics, all 10 issues currently out for only $40 digitally. That's you
Oh,
know, well over 200 pages of comic book for only $40. And you can get,
awesome.
yeah, there's all sorts of cool deals. The covers are awesome. The trailer is really cool. I mean, just go to the trailer, and I think you'll be sold because it's a really thrilling trailer.
I love creators that do trailers too. We just did one for we're running a Kickstarter right now for it's a horror show, the found footage anthology. And it's doing the trailer was the first time we ever did it, and it kind of enhances your excitement for the book and really
Yeah,
just getting people to be like, if you're not gonna like if you're hesitant about backing it, just go watch that first and like watch that. And it's
yes,
always such a good selling point. So it's cool that you're taking
it
those
is.
routes. And honestly, like
Yes.
digital rewards, I think a lot of like the audiences and sometimes even creators forget like how good digital rewards are. You know, that's
Hmm.
money that goes straight to like extra stuff for the book because for a creator,
Yes.
you're not really
Yeah.
having to, you're not printing anything, you're not mailing anything. It's a PDF or a link you're sending out. And sometimes that digital reward will actually benefit a creator more than like physical rewards. You know what I mean? Just to get
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
book out there and alive and going.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to do the shipping and bagging and all that stuff taken to the post office. So yeah, it's whatever is fine. I mean, I personally I like holding the comic book in my hand, but I don't mind reading digital comics. I'm doing it more so now because I got a library card, so I
Yeah.
can go and get them for free and listen to them or watch them. So, um, but yeah, it's there's a lot of great cool rewards. Like there's one where you can have your dog, a picture of your dog in the back of the book. We got one. Our artist will draw your dog, a cartoon drawing of your dog, and there's examples on the Kickstarter that he's done for past Alpha Dogs Kickstarters, and he's amazing. So yeah, a lot of cool rewards, especially dog centric.
Oh, that's so sweet. Dude, that's awesome. I love that. I love those rewards that really get you more involved with the book on a personal
Yeah.
level as well. And do you have any like any cons or conventions you're hoping to hit up this year as well that you have lined up?
Yeah, I've got Fantasticon in Toledo, Ohio here in 2 weeks. That's going to be a lot of fun. They get a big crowd there. Then in next month, I'll be in Kalamazoo, Michigan for Grand Rapids Comic Con. I'll be at the one in Elkhart. I always will forget the name. It's a great Comic Con in Elkhart, Indiana. I'll be on that one after. So I'm kind of hitting a trifecta of states.
Oh, nice. Cool. Yeah, you sounds like you're on what central time then, I think. Or are you still on
No,
Eastern time in
Eastern.
Ohio? Okay, I forget. I'm from El Paso, Texas, where Mountain Time is like a weird sliver in the United
Uh-huh.
States. Yeah, and so being on Eastern Time now, it's so much bigger than I realize on just the whole country. But
Yeah.
dude, that's so rad. Tabling wise, do you take all like what books do you really kind of push? How do you table and how do you find success when you're tabling with all these kind of series?
Yeah, well, Alpha Dogs always sells the most, but when I first started, all I had was Alpha Dogs. So I have my cover over my table has Alpha Dogs embroiled on it, embroidered in it.
Nice.
So it's in Alpha Dogs has cooler covers because you got dogs on them. So that's always the main draw, and um, I probably sell a good 4 to 1 Alpha Dogs to my other titles. They're just as good. It's just, you know, a, a, the amazing art with Alpha Dogs and having this cool looking dog is a really great selling part. And everybody likes dogs.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Dude, that's sick. It's one of those things where you're like, you try to find what is your main seller to introduce people to your other books. And it's always a good segue to have like, okay, I know what's going to grasp people. And now I get to
Mhm.
like open them up to the rest of my creative line and they start becoming fans that way. You know, they enjoy one
Yeah.
thing and they start branching out to be like, wow, I wonder what this guy's up to in these other ones. And it
Mhm.
gets people to come back even when you do repeated cons year after year. And I always love that
Yeah.
feeling as well.
Yeah,
Dude,
definitely.
awesome. Any other releases? I know you mentioned you're trying to get issue 2 of one of your books out this year, and then we have the trade that's going to be
Yeah.
available at stores. Anything else you're trying to release?
Well, just issue 5 of Dempster Detective is coming to Kickstarter in April. So
Oh, cool.
that's going to be great because I just fulfilled that not that long ago. So I'm going to be having a shorter gap time between comics because you're always worried that you wait more than 6 months and people don't care anymore. And I've had some of mine that's been a year long gap, so I'm trying to trying to do better at that. So I was able to release issue 5 really quickly from issue 4, and people have been really asking me a lot for it. It's really grown a fan base really quickly.
Cool. I love it. And you know what? Just so as we wrap things up here, where can people find all of your work outside of cons?
Yeah, you can find me. Well, if you go to Simon and Schuster, I'm an author on there with the trade.
Nice.
You can find me on X at Real Alpha Dogs. You can find me on Instagram at alpha_dogs_comic, and I'm on Facebook.
Awesome, dude. Good to hear. I'm so excited for everything you're up to and like congrats on all this great
Thank you.
movement that's happened with you the last few months.
I appreciate that.
Of course. And thanks for stepping in the spotlight. And we will talk soon, John.